Why, hello. How the devil are we? Good. Yes, thank you, puppy. You're good too, aren't you? Well, I'm having a bit of a rush of blood, and I've requested a test ride on another bike. So I shall be off to Branson's of Yeovil shortly, and I shall see you on the way. Get halfway there, switch the camera on, no SD card. What a moose. I mean, seriously. Seriously? It's all wet and slippery and audible. So off to Branson's we go. So you may be asking, what? Well, you won't be, but let's pretend for a minute that you're asking, why am I going to test ride another bike when I have the perfect steed, the perfect chariot? Well, better slow down actually. Well, one, nothing's ever perfect, is it? Two, the grass is always greener on the other side. Three, I've now had possession of this for 18 months. So I'm toying with the idea of maybe changing if it's economically viable. I mean, you see, I like the Africa Twin. What I like is the DCT. I want to try DCT. I like the Africa Twin, but let's be brutally honest, I am never going to do green laning or anything like that. As I said, most people who ride an adventure style bike, most people spend 99.9% of their time on tarmac, on roads. The joy of an adventure bike is the seating position, in this case, the screen and the weather protection. Bloody potholes everywhere. The comfort and the versatility, you know, fine green laning, blah blah blah, not going to do it. So why not try something that's more geared towards what you would use it for, with the added creature comforts of the DCT, of cruise control. I mean, Africa Twins are crazy money, and again, my usage doesn't really justify one, does it? I love a sports tourer. As I've mentioned previously, my dream bike was always a ZZR 1100. They're a bit long in the tooth now, and in all honesty, I don't think my
my back and my shoulders would cope with a sports tourer like the ZX1000. And sports tourers certainly seem to have evolved slightly, haven't they? They are more like the Versys, the Tracer and that sort of thing. So let's go and see what we've got. Now the sun has actually come out. Right, so here I am on the 2025 Honda NT1100 DCT ES, I think it is. I think that's what they call it. I know what it is. So yeah, having never ridden a DCT or automatic before, initial first impression is, yeah, I approve. I mean, before you ride a DCT, you imagine yourself being a bit flustered looking for the clutch, because it's such a natural, ingrained muscle reflex, isn't it? But straight off the bat, you don't miss it. You don't even think about it. It's a fair bit heavier than the Transalp. I think this comes in at something like 238 kilos. Transalp somewhere around 190, I think. But this is much lower. I can flat foot this and stand up, you know, and have daylight between my arse and the seat. So plenty of oomph. Getting a bit of buffeting off the top there. So cruise control, which is something I've wanted on a bike for a while. Again, you can feel the weight, but it's stable. You're not feeling all the rutting in the road. So we've got dynamic suspension, electronically controlled, so you can adjust it on the fly if you want to. of the brake and the cruise control comes off. I mean, you definitely feel as if you could munch some miles on this thing. Most definitely. So it develops the same sort of horsepower as the Transalp. A bit more, it's 100. Some say 101, but let's call it 100. The big difference is in the torque. Considerably more torque. Handles really nicely. It's got an IMU in it. So it knows if you're cornering, obviously it knows the lean angle, so it can use adaptive ABS. I don't know if the IMU is hooked up to the suspension. Now you've got your Apple CarPlay stroke Android Auto up front, if you so desire. Again, eliminates the need for a standalone sat-nav unit. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but I've always liked the dash on the Africa Twin, and then subsequently this, the updated one, should I say. So I think when this came out, they probably gave the Africa Twin the uplift as well with the TFT screen. So by the looks of it, the suspension is set to medium. Now I like my gadgets, you know. I like my gadgets, even if it's something that is just a novelty and you never really make use of. I like having them. And so something like this is full of gadgets and I love it. Now the IMU suspension is hooked up to the IMU, I believe. So it should firm the suspension up a little bit for anti-dive. Not anti-dive, but I think it should try and balance it a little better. Certainly get a sense of security riding. Again, you can feel the additional weight. It's not as, it doesn't initially feel quite as lithe and nimble, but it feels more stable. I think it's got a good set of rubbers on it. Dunlops, I think. seating position's pretty comfortable. No pressure on the shoulders. I think this has got the comfort seat on it, the touring seat. Oh, I went for the clutch then, that's the first time. No, I can't get my leg over. Too old. Very nice. It comes with the boxes, same as mine, only they're wider now, so you can, in theory, you can get a full face lid inside. Nice and easy to get up off the stand. So I think instead of going that way, which I normally would, we'll go back this way. So we're in Sport 1. Yeah, instantly a lot more lively, as you would expect. I mean, it's a shame it's such a wet and miserable day, but wow. What else would you expect? It's really nice having cruise control. You know, if you're on a long slog of motorway, which I've done a few times now, it's not the end of the world. But sometimes, like, you want to put your glove on or turn it off, and you're doing this on the tank. Sometimes you want this hand-free. And what you don't want to be is on the motorway or a fast A road or whatever with a car up your chuff and you're having to take your hand off your accelerator, off the throttle, and fuffing around with something because you're losing your speed. So yeah, I mean, there's absolutely no air here at all. You can feel it a bit in here. Certainly feel it there. And again, in here, nothing. It's very comfortable. I mean, and now I'm in my late 40s going on 70. There's nothing wrong with comfort. So So yeah, I mean, low speed control is fine. I mean, you've got no clutch to feather. But it seems to be geared quite nicely, so that low speed is no problem. So yes, all in all, me like a lot. What's the story, Morning Glory? Yeah, I liked it an awful lot, actually. Getting back on this, you can definitely feel the difference in weight, which is obvious, isn't it, really? And this obviously feels a lot narrower, whether it is or not. So would I consider an NT1100 DCT ES? Yes. Pete's running some figures and he'll let me know what's what, and we'll go from there. If it's not financially viable or, you know, too expensive, then I won't, because there's no need, because this is a fantastic bike. You know, there's nothing to dislike about this bike. I just like my gadgets. I like novelty. Trouble with novelty is it wears off very quickly, doesn't it? But we can't help who we are. Now, if anyone's interested, I mean, this is not a paid commercial for Branson's, but they're such nice people, you know. If you are interested in an NT1100 24 model, he did say he's got a couple that are discounted and come with a Voyager pack included. I'm not so interested in the 24 model. Although they are quite a bit cheaper. So if you're interested in one, give them a ring. Right, so I shall love you and leave you, and stay tuned, and I'll report back on what's going to happen. Maybe nothing, maybe a new bike, who knows?